Welcome, fellow Tarnished, to Dark Fantasy Games, a channel dedicated to Elden Ring and the dark fantasy genre. In this video we're going to be making an old wizard-like character in the character creation. This was actually requested by one of the channel's viewers, and I thought it was a good opportunity for me to delve a little deeper into the character creation, which I hadn't really done on starting out my first playthrough. So we're going to jump in by choosing the astrologer class, because this is a mage type class with a sorcerer's staff, so it's a good fit for an old wizard. This video could be quite long, so get yourself a hot drink, some snacks, sit back and relax, or if you want to make a similar character, then maybe you want to create a character alongside while watching this video. So we're going to choose aged as our age. Keepsake is something you can choose as a starting gift. It depends on what you feel is going to be right for your character at the start of the game. Choose base template. This can help in the character creation. We can choose one that's maybe going to give us some features that are going to work well. This guy looks relatively old, so let's start with the Newman. Now we can go into detailed appearance. Here we can change the voice to maybe aged voice. Fits the look of our character quite well, I guess. We can change the skin colour. I think that will do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take off the character's hair for now, so we get a better look at the facial features as we're changing them, and then we'll add the hair and maybe a beard at the end. So we've got a few options at the top here. Adjust face template. Here we can change the overall bone structure of the character's face. We can change the angle that we're viewing the character by using these arrows here, where you see the portrait of the character. So let's kind of get it at a position that's going to work well for us to be able to see what changes we're making. To be honest with you, the base look of the character isn't too bad for an old wizard look, but I still want to make some changes. So let's just have a quick look at some of these bone structures and see how they change the overall makeup of the face. I think 6 is okay. I think that's an okay bone structure to start with. Form emphasis. So this is going to be to do with how narrow the central features of the character is, such as things like the nose, stuff like that. So I think 50 is a relatively good start. Apparent age. Now, I don't know if this number is in years or not, but we're going to make him as old as we can. It doesn't really make a lot of difference, to be honest with you. We'll go with 255. That's old. Facial aesthetic. So here we can change how masculine or feminine the features are. I don't really think that looks very feminine, to be honest with you, but you know, well, whatever. A little bit more fullness of the face by just increasing it a little bit. To be honest with you, creating a character like this is going to be a lot of kind of tinkering and fine-tuning, which is why these types of videos can sometimes take a while if we're going to go through every little option. I just want to make sure that we're checking out all the options and seeing how much it changes the overall look of the character. So if we go into face structure here, we've got a little bit more scope in what we can change. So facial balance, we can change the nose size, nose to forehead ratio and things like that. So let's just play around with this and see what sort of things it does to the look of this character. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, so it's to do with how far down the nose is, by the looks of it, to the actual brow. So also says it changes the width. Let's see. I think that's a good position there. Nose to forehead ratio. Face protrusion. Okay, that's looks like it's changing his cheekbones. Vertical face ratio. Facial feature slant. And horizontal face ratio. The only thing I've noticed in the character creation is you can't actually change the size of ears. That's the one thing I've noticed that it's missing. It's about to make ears smaller or bigger, change where they are. At least I haven't seen it in here. Okay, so now we've messed around with the facial balance, which we might have to go back in and tweak a little bit later, but we may be in and out of some of these menus because when you change things it can unbalance certain changes you've made earlier on. So let's take a look at forehead depth, see what this does. Okay, yeah, so this section just above the nose is what that seems to change there, but it also changes if the character looks like he's frowning or not. We want the character to look maybe balanced. Don't want him to look too serious. We don't want him to look surprised. I think where it was is actually not too bad. Forehead protrusion. So this is to do with how far the forehead comes out. I think quite far forward is going to work at this point, because at the moment it was a little bit too far back, I think. Bridge. Is that the bridge of the nose? Let's say around 100. Nose bridge width. Okay, let's makes him look sad. Makes him look mean. I think where it was again with that is okay. I think because we've chose a good base to start with, a lot of these features are going to be in the right kind of place. Brow ridge height. Now from the front, some of these changes don't look like they make a massive difference, but from the side, I think is what we want to check. It's not making too much of a weird look. $200 with that one. Outer bridge. Again, it's not far off, I don't think. It's quite well balanced. Eyes. Eye position, eye spacing, eye size, that sort of thing. We don't want him to have massive eyes, I don't think. I mean, you could have really big eyes if you wanted to. Depends. I think with age, your eyes seem to get a little bit smaller, or at least they look that way, because the skin around them starts kind of hanging over your eyes, making them look smaller sometimes. So a slightly smaller eye size. Eye slant. Yeah, let's go with that. Eye spacing. The spacing's quite wide at the moment. We don't want it to be too far in the middle, because it will look very strange. That doesn't quite look right, does it? So maybe about 135. More nose options. Just turn to the side and see what that's doing. Okay, so that's how far out the nose goes. 170 doesn't look too bad. Nose ridge length. We bring his nose down a little bit because noses seem to get bigger with age for some reason. I have no idea why, but they just do. So we want his nose to be a little bit bigger than it is, I think. We want the nose position to be a little bit lower as well, a little bit longer. I think 160 is not too bad. Nose tip. The height of the nose tip. Okay. Maybe about 100. Nose protrusion. That's how far out it sticks. I think about 80. Nose height. Notice how changing some of these things are changing some of the features at the top that we've already changed. So this is why I was saying that we might have to go back in and just tinker around with some of those settings a little bit once we've changed things in here. It will potentially change all the balance completely, but nose slant. Okay. Let's have a look at nostrils. Nostril slant. Up or down. .95 nostril size. Large or small. Nostril width. Let's go a little bit wider with his nose. I think that's not too bad there. Okay. Cheeks. Cheekbone height. I want his cheekbones to be quite low. His face will look a bit droopy with age. Cheekbone depth and cheekbone width just reduced a bit. Cheekbone protrusion, this is where it's going to show if it makes him look like he's smiling a little bit, doesn't it? We don't want him to look too serious, but I think, to be honest with you, where that was actually not too bad. Cheeks thin or thick. Again, does a similar thing. I want it just to be relatively neutral, I guess. Lips. Lip shape. Want the lips to be relatively pursed, I think, but... doesn't really look sad, it looks like disgust, that mouth expression there, to me. Doesn't really... but then again, it's probably mixed with all the other features. We want it to be, again, relatively neutral. Quite small lips. So lip protrusion, I'm guessing this is going to be seen better from the side. Yeah. And then lip thickness. Okay, now I change the lip protrusion. It looks like he's got a different expression on his lips. Just need to straighten that out a little bit. Okay. Mouth slant. Occlusion. That's going to be, looks like how far his top lip goes over his bottom lip. Yeah. Mouth position. It looks a little bit older now. His lips looks like an old man. Mouth chin distance. If we bring that down a little bit, that just now balances out the mouth a little bit more. Alright. Chin. Chin tip position. Chin length, we want that to be a bit longer, I think. We might have to change some of the settings soon now, but we want to have quite a long chin, long face. Chin size. So changing the chin width and stuff is looking a bit odd now, but when we put the beard on him later, it's actually going to make the beard look a little bit longer. One thing I've noticed from the character creation is they don't have the option to be able to change the length of the beards, and I really would like a slider to be able to increase it, because I want to have, if I'm making a wizardy character, I want him to have a really long beard. Unfortunately, they don't have that option. The longest beard isn't even that long, so by increasing the size of his chin, it might just make the beard look a little bit bigger. I don't know if it will or not, but it might. We can try. So yes, maybe going to look a bit strange for now. Although we might just have to fill his cheeks out a little bit more just to fill his face out. It might round it off a little bit. So let's actually go back to cheeks first. See if we balance this back out a little bit. And the jaw. Just make it look a little less pointy. What if we go back into chin? There is one to do with its protrusion. No, I want to bring the chin back a little bit. Chin tip position may be the one I'm looking for. Yeah. Just want to bring it back a little bit so it's not sticking out as much. It's just a little bit straighter. It has changed the shape of his mouth a little bit now though. So his lips are looking a lot bigger now. So again, we might have to go in to lips and just change this a little bit. This is the thing about character creation in some of these more complex systems. They will sometimes unbalance features, which is why it can sometimes be difficult to get a well-balanced looking character, and why it can take so long if you're like me and you want to do a half decent job of creating a character that looks quite believable. So I think if we was to change maybe lip thickness, that might just help out with how his lips look, because I want the lips to be quite thin. I don't think that looks too bad. I think that's okay for now. Again, we might have to go back in and play around a little bit with that. I'm still not quite happy with his nose. What option was it that changed the length? Can't quite remember. I want his nose to be just a little bit longer, just nose height. It must have been nose high, but it's already as high as it can go. So it must be from some of the other changes that we've made on other facial features, kind of push the nose up. Nose position, there you go, down. Notice how that's changing the lips as well. Now we made those alterations to the lips, so... Again, we might have to go back into the lips and just tweak again a little bit. The eyes need to be tweaked again as well. So let's go back into the eyes. I don't think it's necessarily the size of the eyes. It's to do with the brow. It needs to come down. Brow ridge. Let's bring those eyes down just a little bit. I don't think it's looking too bad. I'm still not 100% happy with the eyes. They're still not fitting just quite right for me at the moment. Let's just have a look in some of the facial balance settings again and see if tweaking some of these might just help balance a little bit out. And the lips are looking a bit odd now. I'm still not 100% happy with those eyes, but I mean, they're not too bad. I just want them to be closed a little more. It's going to be to do with the brow, I think, maybe. Or some of these lower sections, maybe the cheekbones need to go up a little bit more just to close the eyes a little bit. But I wanted the cheekbones to be quite low to give it that kind of more kind of old, kind of saggy look to his face. Just balance these lips out a little bit more. Let's try the cheeks and see if cheekbone height does change in the air. So the cheekbone height is what's gonna kind of close those eyes a little bit more. So now we've figured that it's something that's helped, we might now just be able to tweak the eyes again a little bit to do with the slant of the eyes. Actually, the slant of the eyes doesn't look too bad at this point. Eye size, and just make them a little bit smaller. No. Move them down just a little bit. Okay, that's not too bad, I don't think. We can now maybe just look at a few other tweaks. Maybe to the forehead. Let's look at some cosmetic changes. Skin features. Skin luster will add kind of like a bit more of a shine to the skin, I think. Which always looks a bit more realistic, I think. Dark circles under the eyes. Let's make them a little bit darker. Pores, I'm not sure if really you're going to be able to notice. Let's zoom in and see if... Oh yeah, it does. Just you can kind of see around here, it's very slight, but you can kind of see the skin just looks a little bit more detailed with them open. Closed. Closed actually maybe makes his skin look a little bit older, actually. I think having it open just adds a little bit of vitality to the texture of the skin. So let's close the pores. Let's start looking at eye colour. I want them to be like a very light blue, actually. I think we can adjust the colour if we press F. Actually, we want them to be quite a dark blue, I think. I think it will go well with the grey hair. Okay. Let's choose that colour. Now let's look at eyebrows. There's the big wizard eyebrows. Don't want to do. Brow colour we want to be, I think, quite dark. Maybe try and put some white, a few white hairs in it. Now let's look at beards. I think, actually, what's his eyelashes like? Can hardly see them. Number 3, eyelash colour, dark. Eyelashes again get quite long with age, I think, so do eyebrows. So that works quite well. Facial hair. Now, this is a little bit of a letdown to me personally, to be honest with you, being a guy who actually has a beard. I just think it would be nice to have longer beards. That's the longest beard you've got in the game at the moment, number 3. It's a bit short, if I'm honest, for a wizard's beard. You want a nice big long wizard beard, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. It would also be nice if you could choose the colour of... Actually, saying that, luster. Can we change the colour of that? Root darkness. It'd be nice if it's, I mean, it gives you the option there. It says, yeah, it says match hair root darkness. So I don't want it to match the hair. I want to choose a different colour. And even some white hairs there just adds a little bit of detail to the beard. And now we can look at hair styles. Hair, there it is. So obviously wanting to have quite long hair. I think maybe something like that. There's, again, not really many hairstyles that look very wizardy to me personally. They either look like male or kind of female generic kind of styles. I mean, I guess if you don't want to look at all the hard work you've done on making the face of the character look right, that could potentially work. But you can't really see your character. I think really the best one to probably go with is going to be... I mean, that one might work. It does look a little bit feminine. It's not bad, actually. I don't think that's too bad. I think that's not... Yeah, that's kind of okay, I think, actually. It's not too bad. I guess it could work both male and female looks, I guess. We want to just add a little bit of detail to the hair. Let's add a little bit of shine, some roots, and then just a few white hairs to give it some definition. And there we go. I don't think that's bad, to be honest with you. I think I'm quite happy with that. I think he definitely looks old. He definitely looks like he's not too serious. He's not too happy. He's kind of well balanced in his facial expressions, I think, personally. But you can kind of tell that he means business. There's a bit of a look about him that kind of says to you, you know, don't mess with me. The guy's got some spells up his sleeve. Some magic tricks up his sleeve. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to jump into the game with this character and just see how he looks actually in game with his staff. Okay, so here's our wizard character. I think he actually looks quite good now we're in the game. Let's see if we can get in a little bit closer. I think he's looking quite good. He definitely looks like a wizardy character to me. I don't think we did a bad job there. I'm quite happy with how he's turned out. Let's just go and see how he looks in combat before we end the video. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Watch this space for more Elden Ring, and before I go, I'd just like to say, may you be blessed with a curseless journey.